Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk more about the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo to train on the PlayStation 5. I'm going to link to the full video in the description of this video so you can check it out. Now just finished watching an interview with Geoff Keighley interviewing some of the Unreal Engine employees, and it was very interesting, and everything was of course around this Unreal Engine tech demo, and I want to mention some things regarding to that. Now first of all, if you haven't seen the tech demo, please watch it first. It's just very impressive and it just shows the capabilities of the new Unreal Engine 5, which a preview of it will be released in the early next year. But you can also see how it runs on the PlayStation 5 hardware, and it can show you what we can expect to see when games will be released using this engine. Now just keep in mind that the Unreal Engine of course will support next-gen consoles, it will support PC games of course, and even support mobile devices. So it's not this engine is going to run only on the PlayStation 5, not at all. And not just this, actually Epic Games have their Epic Online services where they want to connect communities across all platforms. And by the way, I'm a developer, web developer, but I also develop apps. And I was also thinking about using this new engine to develop a cute little game myself. Something I'm looking, and we'll see what I'm going to do about this. But having the option to use those free services to create online multiplayer games, and just forget about the complexity of creating those services myself or using other third parties where it's more complicated, especially when it comes to cross-platform gameplay. This is a really great place to find solutions for that if you're planning to develop a multi-user game. Anyway, back to the tech demo. So first of all, it's lighting. And they talk about the lighting, and they said that all the lighting in the tech demo were actually dynamic lighting. So what this means is there's nothing is baked, nothing is kind of pre-made to fake real world lighting. So actually when a lighting hits a surface, it's kind of bouncing back from it. And this can create a lighting effect which looks more realistic. And if you need to fake it, this means that if you don't use dynamic lighting, if you change something in the environment, you cannot not get realistic looking results because the lighting is not going to change. With dynamic lighting, what this means that if there's a change of the environment, kind of maybe a mutation of 3D models or destruction, the lighting will behave naturally like in the real world. For example, if you are in a dark cave and there's a kind of light coming in and maybe something breaks or a few stones fall down and more lights come in, you can immediately see this reflected by the lighting in the environment. Whether if the game wasn't designed like this, probably the game would be more static, because if you fake lighting and you change something in the environment, you need also to kind of fake the thing, and you can't do this, it doesn't happen automatically in real time. Because if you fake the lighting, you kind of need to make changes, and I think it's complicated, the development process, and of course you can, when you do this with a dynamic gameplay, you don't know actually what to expect because there are so many ways for users to do something to the environment. So for example, if you are creating a dynamically destructible environment where everything is possible, you're going to have a problem because you can't just bake the lighting for every different situation. They're going to be endless. But this one, you don't need to worry about anything. You can create a destructible environment, and of course the lighting is dynamic and everything will appear natural. So less headache for developers. So let me give you an example. For example, you are in a jungle and you walk in, it's kind of dark because there are many trees, and depends on when you walk, the bushes that you push, the lighting comes in dynamically, depends on where you're located and how you actually move the bushes. Another thing is, for example, if you are in a room and there's other characters just shooting into maybe it's a cave, maybe it's a room, and you can see the lighting just come in the same holes where the actually bullets came through into the room. And of course, just two examples, but horror games are going to be so much different with this engine, Unreal Engine 5, because the immersion is going to be so much better due to those lighting effects. And of course, you know that lighting effects are crucial in order to create different type of atmospheres. Now, I have no doubt that we're going to see many of our favorite horror games like Resident Evil taking advantage of these capabilities if they decide to use Unreal Engine 5 to really create kind of more immersive world and produce even more mesmerizing horror experiences in their games. Another thing that one of the employees said is that this technology that they have in Unreal Engine 5 enables developers to create games that nobody actually thought about before. And this means that in each generation, the capabilities of both the hardware and the graphics engine enables us to create different type of games. For example, even if you take Battle Royale, in open world games, in previous generation, it wasn't possible because, creating a very large environment, very detailed environment, it wasn't possible before. But with the previous gen, it was possible because the graphics engine and the hardware supported large environments and even running those environments in multiplayer games that even 100 players can actually play at the same time. So what they said is that they don't really know what type of games you're going to see with these new technologies. Now, when you give these tools to developers, you put them, less limitations, so they can be more creative, and they come up with really crazy ideas that nobody thought about before. They also mentioned that because the lighting is dynamic, developers can actually experiment with different light sources and see how it actually look in the game. And because everything happens in real time, it's not baked, you can just, for example, take a specific light source and see how it actually looks when you're actually developing the game. So what this means is developers can better direct the lighting in their game, and it's also save time because they don't need to think about how they can bake a certain lighting in certain situation, because they can just play with the lighting better, visualize how the effect will be, and of course not worry about if something changes in the environment dynamically, how it will affect the lighting. Another important thing that I've heard there is because how this Unreal Engine 5 supports high resolution textures and high resolution polygons, is that developers will be able to use movie quality assets in their games. Rather than, for example, if you are a developer and you are aiming to a certain platform, you're probably going to set lower polygon 3D models and lower texture in order to be able to run your game in less demanding environment that have kind of limited computing power resources. Now, I even do this myself. When I develop, for example, augmented reality filters, I always try to optimize things, buy low polygons 3D models, scale down the texture, lower the resolution, make them more compressed, everything to save down space. And not just space, make sure the game is optimized and run properly in good frame rates. So now developers can just, buy those movie quality assets and just drag them into environment and use them without actually worrying about those further optimizations. Now, even when you go to a 3D asset store, you can find different versions. One for example, movie quality assets and one for low polygons. And right now, when you go to those stores, you actually don't need to make this distinction. You can just go and buy the highest resolution one and use it, and you know that it can work in your game. It's kind of crazy. I still don't know how they did it. I need to read more about it, but you can see from the tech demo, it's just crazy. It just looks so photorealistic. Now, they mentioned that, of course, each generation they are getting to be, the visuals getting more and more photorealistic, but there are some things, for example, they talk about splashes of water, like waves. We are still not there, and it's probably a generation away, but overall, we are getting to a place where you find it very hard to tell what is real and what is virtual, because everything is going to look so realistic. And yeah, even in the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and of course current PC hardware using this Unreal Engine 5, you're going to see a game that looks really realistic, which in some cases you probably won't be able to tell whether what you see in front of you is realistic or virtual. Of course, it's all virtual, but I think it's really, to your eyes, it will look very much realistic. Now, if you are a developer coming from the Unreal Engine 4, they said it's going to be a seamless transition. So if you want to move your Unreal Engine 4 project to Unreal Engine 5, it won't be kind of a hard transition. And actually doing this for Fortnite, because they want to transition Fortnite from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, and they are doing the same thing. By the way, Fortnite should support transition to Unreal Engine 5 next year, and of course this enable the game to to just grow up and enable developers to create kind of unique experiences that we weren't able to do with the previous version. Now, in case of Fortnite, you're probably going to see more entertainment content merged into the game itself. We already see them with those music clips and stuff, but you're probably going to see something more impressive after this transition. Now, having this, of course, insane realism, the idea is to enabling worlds without any bounds, so developers can really develop any world that they think about, be very, very creative, create really simulating realistic environments like never before. And of course, this doesn't include just visuals, because the engine, of course, supports realistic physics, destruction environments, and many more things that enable the game developers to create really immersive environments. And not just environments, really great gameplay experiences. Now, of course, if you are a gamer and you don't really understand a lot about the technical stuff, what you should know is that this Unreal Engine 5 by Epic Games is going to fuel up many future games, and those games are going to look crazily beautiful and allow developers to create even more immersive and unique gameplay experiences. Now, it doesn't mean that open world games or RPG games can benefit from it, or MMO. Every game can benefit from this, because it allows two main things that why they focus on the lighting and the optimization for run environments with many polygons, because these are two things that actually prevent developers for being creative and create their own ideas of how the game actually should look like and play like. Now, though when it comes to creative thinking, you don't limit yourself with the hardware capabilities. You think of an idea, and then you're going to find yourself sort of needing to deal with some of the limitations of the hardware and software. This is why sometimes you see really amazing trailers, even gameplay, and then you see when you get the game, you see that it's very much optimized after that, and it just look worse, even play worse. And people, it really disappoint gamers when they see this. So in this gen, this next generation engines in hardware, you won't see this. You're gonna see, you should see, you won't see, probably you should see great gameplay experiences that you see them looking great before they release, and they're going to stay like this when the game is released. Now, I'm not saying that it won't happen, that you're going to see like really great gameplay trailers and you're going to see like a reduction. Actually, I expect this to see to some degree. But the thing is, when you read about and listen what the developers are saying about this Unreal Engine 5, it seems that developers won't have the need to actually do this, because they will be able to run games in such a high quality without actually worrying about these further optimizations. But just keep in mind that I haven't developed with the engine, of course, and this is something that I need to wait and see. But right now, it looks very promising. So overall, it looks very promising. I just wanted to mention some of the points that I heard in the interview, and it was a very nice interview. But I still have many questions that I want to know. What were the actual limitations of the number of polygons? What the limitation of the bounce of the lighting were? How much it actually bounces before it's actually stop calculating the bounces? Something like that. That as a developer myself, and with my partial understanding about game development, there are some questions that are left unanswered. So that's it. If you have any question, please let me know. I'm also going to search more information about it and share some new insights in upcoming videos. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell button to get notified when I release new videos. If you like this video, also don't forget to like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.